Hi, everyone. I'm Louyse Vigneault,
Hi, and I'm Leanne Henwood-Adam, and we are
the Ageless Alchemists podcast.
Hey, Louyse, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. How about you?
Oh, I'm also doing amazing. So we decided today we would have a chat about goal setting and all of those fun resolutions and all those kind of ideas that people tend to be thinking about it around this time of the year because it's the brand new year. It's 2024. So happy new year to you, Louyse, and happy new year to anyone who's listening.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to you too, Leanne, and everyone listening to the podcast. So Happy New Year, and wishing you all that your wishes become all through.
Definitely, definitely. So, Louyse, did you set a resolution or set a goal for yourself this year for 2024?
Actually, I did set myself with 24 goals. Already wrote everything down because it's 2024. So last year was 2023. So it was 23 goals. This year is 24 goals. And from year to year doesn't mean that I have reached all these goals because sometimes are more outcome than just a process goal. And what is happening is whatever I reach in from 2023, okay, check mark. And those that I haven't reached yet, I transfer them to the new year, and I'm adding more. So, and I have to become creative sometimes because it's like 24 goals. Okay, what am I going to do this year? Doesn't mean that at the end of the year, I say, oh, yeah, maybe this one was a bit too creative and I'm not going to take this one for another year. But anyway, being creative. So that's how I did my goal this year.
That's amazing. So, I know, Louyse, your background is in life coaching and you've dealt with NLP and all kinds of wonderful things. What kind of advice would you give people who are trying to set goals or resolutions for the new year?
Okay. Like we always say, if you fail to plan, you're going to fail your goals. So that's pretty much how it is. So that's the reason why when I put the goal on, I already wrote that goal. And some of them, like during the year, I'll go back and say, oh, yeah, this I haven't done it. Okay, how am I going to plan that goal for this year? Sometimes life comes in the way and I might not even touch them for a couple of months. So far, already from the 2024 goals. So my 24 goals already reached two already.
That's amazing. So, good for you.
Yeah. So that was part of 2024. So
we're literally 4 days in and you
know
2 goals. That's fantastic.
Already. Yeah. It was going through all my cupboards and cleaning up, throwing out what is has expired, what is no longer good, and went through my clothes and things and got rid of what I didn't want anymore. So I already have done 2. So out of those 24. So, but they were
That's
easy
amazing.
to do. Yeah. So I really wanted to get those ones. So they were really like kind of my priority. So that's the thing. The moment we write them, then we have to find which one are the most important one and start maybe to plan, even to write down in our day timer on our schedule, whatever we decide. If for some people it's starting to work out, I always say start easy. You don't have to do an hour of workout, maybe just at 15, 20 minutes to start with. Get the habit of doing that every day. And then eventually you're going to end up doing 30 minutes and maybe eventually doing 45 and 60 minutes. So that's
I
pretty much how it
agree.
is.
I think just simply starting is really good advice. I always tell people to try baby steps towards a larger goal as well. So a little bit each day is going to get you towards that larger goal. I have also heard, and I wondered what you thought about this. I heard someone talking about, the two things. One was setting intentions rather than setting goals was one of them. But then the other one was in regards to setting goals where they attached a habit or something that they're going to do to something that they already do in order to be successful. So as an example, this one woman said she wanted to start working out more. And she needed to attach it to something that she already did in her day every single day so that she would remember to do it. So the idea that she had was every morning before I get dressed, I brush my teeth. So while she's standing at the bathroom counter, brushing her teeth, she started doing squats. And so that got her in the habit of remembering to do the squats. And then it became a habit over time because it was attached to something that she was already doing. So she didn't have to think about it too much. So two things for you to kind of talk about there. So one was the attaching an action to something that you're already doing to help you remember. And then the other one was setting an intention rather than a goal. And I wanted to get your input on that.
I would say setting an intention is really great. As far as I'm concerned, means the same as a goal. And every morning thinking about that intention. If it's only one goal you want to reach this year, then every morning before you get up, think about that intention you did put for this year and start to plan it. Regarding the habit, great habit. You can even go even more by, let's say, if somebody wants to go at the gym or wants to start walking. I like the idea of just doing the squat. The squat, we're working all the major, the big, huge muscle in our body. So doing squat while brushing our teeth, I find it's a great way of starting. But another way you can start, like say people are want to get into the habit of going to the gym in the morning or do their workout in the morning, is the night before you put all your clothes and your shoes right on your toilet. And so in the morning, the first thing you're going to see is this, and then you dress up right away and then get and do whatever it is, either the gym or you're doing that at home. And it might be just, like I said, 15, 20 minutes to start with and eventually adding more. So that could
I like that idea. I'm not sure that would work for me because I get up in the middle of the night sometimes to use the bathroom. That might backfire on me a little bit, but I do like the idea though. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So I find that sometimes viewing what we want to do, a lot of the time it does help. So, and during COVID, everybody kind of realized that you don't have to go necessarily always at the gym. It's great that we can go to the gym because most of our jobs now are sitting. So this is great. But if people don't necessarily have the money for it, because sometimes it can be a bit expensive, you can always just YouTube it. And there's tons of videos on YouTube regarding physical activity. There's even one, I can't remember her name. but she calls it walk. It's walk 4 miles. I think that's its call, and you're doing it from your home. And she always say walk, walk, walk. So the only thing you remember from that video is walk, walk, walk. But it's true. When we walk, we don't necessarily walk on the spot. We walk forward. She walks backward. She goes diagonal. She goes step, so lateral. So which is great because she makes us understand that walking is not necessarily a thing of forward. Sometimes we have to go backward. Sometimes you have to go diagonal. So it works on balance as well. So I like that. I like that little video when I don't want to think about anything else.
I like that idea because, everyone's going to find an excuse as to why they can't work out. What are the top excuses? The ones that we've heard, I don't have the money is a big one. And especially these days, and I totally understand that. I don't have time. So a lot of this is now just looking at how can we just do something. And so watching those videos is an amazing way to do that because now there's no excuse. It's like, you don't have to worry about the money. You don't have to worry about going out and being around other people in the gym if you don't want to. You don't have to worry about, driving in bad weather or whatever, because you can do it from the comfort of your own home. And any kind of movement is going to be good movement. It's going to be good for you, right? So I love that. Do you think that this idea of setting an intention rather than a goal, do you think that works for some people and people are talking about it right now because of how we see it in our brain? So you deal with NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and I'm just wondering if maybe that word maybe is a better word for some people rather than goals, because I think sometimes when people think of goals, it's much like the word diet, where people have such a negative connotation in their mind for it, right? Like when you think of diet, most people think of deprivation and calorie restriction and not enjoying food, basically. So I'm wondering if goals and goal setting is sort of has that same kind of negative connotation for people.
Actually, you're right. Sometimes the word intention might feels better for someone than using the word goal. And I would say everybody is different when it comes to words. We all have different background, and if somebody is from another culture, that word might resonate better than goal per se. It's like resolution. I don't like to use the word resolution because resolution has more a meaning of negativity, because a lot of people had set up a resolution 1 year or another year, they never did reach what they had planned to do on that year. So resolution, it's a word I don't necessarily use as far as having set, like you said, an intention or a goal for that year. Resolution, it's a word I don't necessarily use a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I do believe that a lot of people look at the idea of a New Year's resolution with a lot of negativity. I heard a lot of people talk this year about it and saying there was absolutely no way they were going to set a resolution, or their New Year's resolution was to not set a resolution. And I don't think that New Year has to be the time to do it. I mean, we can set goals for ourselves at any time, I think. And I think a lot of people come into the new year with this expectation of this is what traditionally people have done. And then they tend to set themselves up for failure because they feel pressured to make some resolution that is really not going to be easy for them to keep. And I get it, the idea of a brand new year, but I mean, every day is a new beginning. So we don't have to do it at the beginning of the year, right? Every day is a new beginning. You know what? Every moment is a new beginning. I've heard people say this when they were on a certain type of diet because they were trying to lose body fat. And then they say, oh, I fell off the wagon. I had a piece of cake, or I had, something that they felt they shouldn't have had. As I said, oh, well, the diet's gone. But it's not true, because, you can start again. So you enjoyed a piece of cake. Good for you. Enjoy it and then get right back on track. There is nothing to say that any given moment can't be a new beginning.
Exactly. You're completely right when it comes to this. And being as well a personal trainer, that's one thing we do. We set goal. We might have like an outcome goal. That's the one we want to reach. But throughout the year, we're going to look up at what we are now to where we start, where we want to go, to see if what we're doing are okay and we're doing the right things. Because thinking about an athlete, think about somebody whose their ultimate goal is to go to the Olympic. They have 4 years. So it's a 4-year goal. So pretty much every 2 months, they will probably check, and sometimes every month, they will check to see where they are. Have they gone forward? What they're doing is it working for them? Do they need to get other things in their program? So it depends. For some people, reaching a goal can be just a couple of months. It might not be really the year. So you're completely right.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to do it at the beginning of the year. Most people do so, but it's not always the case.
Yeah.
And another thing that I like too, when people are at the beginning of the year, is probably to do a vision board. Sometimes a vision board, if they don't want to put down and writing down their goals for the year, they can take magazine and cut from the magazine words that has meaning for them, or maybe picture that they'd like to, maybe they want to plan, let's say, a beach vacation or a cruise vacation, or they want to have family, whatever it is, like cutting from a magazine and putting this on a cardboard. Like I like, for me, a cardboard that is 8.5 by 11, because every year, like I change from that frame and I put my newer one in that frame for the year. But I always keep the old ones. And sometimes I go back and I say, oh, I got this one. Sometimes it didn't happen that year, but it happened 2 or 3 years later. So it's always great sometimes to go back to that vision board and see how it was achieved. So I like that. I like the vision board. I haven't done mine for this year. But I'm getting magazine around to do it. So
that's amazing. And do you think that having hard copies of pictures and doing it the way you're talking about, cutting out pictures or printing pictures and words and pasting it onto something that you can always see is better than, say, doing it on the computer, on a program like Canva or something like that? I've heard differing opinions on it. And so I wanted to see what your thought was on it, because I know you've done vision boards and the vision boards have worked for you, which is amazing. It's not something that I have yet done. I am looking at doing it this year. And I know other people that are looking at doing it. I've heard such differing ideas on it. Some people said that having it, the real physical one like you do, and gluing it means that it's not removable. So it's more likely to stick versus, let's say you had a bulletin board and you had pictures and you just used a tack and you pinned it to the board. They're saying that's maybe not as good because it's not permanent. But then I've heard, I don't know. And then I heard people say, well, doing it on the computer should be just as good as doing it the way that you were talking about. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say to everyone, do whatever feels the best for you.
Oh, I like
Some
that
people,
answer.
yeah. Because some people, they're really good with Canva. Like they go on Canva and they make whatever they want on this, and they put different picture, and you print it and you see it every single day. Sometimes you might not even look at it, but because it's in front of you every day, your brain retains the information. So that's what counts. It's to make sure your brain retain the information. It's like people that like me. I never watch the news. Okay, I never watch the news, but I have a husband that loves to watch the news and listen to the news. So we live in a small condo now. So if I'm close to him, my brain get the information anyway. And that's one of the things. So that's why I use these kind of headphone, because it cut the noise on the outside. I can talk through it. And I find it's much better, especially if my husband is close by and watching TV. Much better for me, much better. So that's the thing. I mean,
I like that. I like that response. It's like, do what's going to be the best for you. Is just doing it.
Exactly.
I like that, because you're not putting up roadblocks for people to do it. It's the same thing with exercise, or, even trying to eat well. When you put up too many restrictions, people just aren't going to do it. And so if you say, find what's going to work for you, and no matter what it is, you're more likely to be successwas
agree.
That. I agree. That.
Yeah. Anyway, we're almost at the end of our podcast. Was there anything you wanted to add to our talk?
No,
today?
Just at the very beginning, we had talked about goals, and we were talking about baby steps. And I just wanted to go over that just a little bit quickly before we leave today, because I find that really helps people if we have a big goal that we want to reach. So let's say someone really had a goal of losing a large amount of body fat from their body. And I'm only saying that because that tends to be a typical one that people pick at New Year's. So I want to lose weight. I was specifically saying body fat because we want people to lose fat as opposed to weight in general. But the baby steps are fine. Like, you have a huge goal to reach, but it seems daunting. And so you need to set these little goals along the way that are going to help you get there, because it's those little successes along the way that are going to keep you motivated to keep going. Because if you can't see some success, losing a large amount of weight is going to take a while to do it properly, as we know. And we will talk about that in one of our podcasts. But I find if you set these little steps along the way and you get those successes, you get that motivation to keep going. And so I think it's really important to do that when we have these huge goals that we're trying to reach.
I completely agree with you. Yeah, I like the baby step. It's so true.
Awesome.
Anyway, we are at the end of the podcast for today. So until next time, my friend, take care of yourself and make sure you have at least one intention or goal for this year, for 2024. And if you can do a vision board, go ahead and do the one that seems to be the best for you. And what's your last word, Leanne?
Thanks, everybody. I wish you all a very happy, healthy, safe, and prosperous new year. And until next time, we are the Ageless Alchemists podcast, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
see
everyone.
you next time.